Hi there, Deneen Glass with your 420 Minute. I have decided, at the risk of oversharing, which I never do, ever, on here or anywhere else, I want to share, in all seriousness, right out of my life this week. And in doing so, I'm going to be very authentic and vulnerable. So if that makes you nervous, just go ahead and turn it off. No, don't. So, being in a marital relationship for the past 13 years, and then together about 4 or 5 before that, there are certain things that I have grown accustomed to in a relationship. Or there are certain maybe benefits that I have grown accustomed to in having a relationship. And so I have been struggling with desire, if you will, of the flesh and things of that nature. And so I took it to God, and I've been talking to God about it. And I just really laid it out there and said my piece. And it was interesting because what I felt wash over me was just not yet, Deneen. And I'll tell you why. It isn't for all the conventional reasons. It isn't because you're, no longer married or... and this is me kind of expounding. This isn't exactly what I heard. So maybe that last statement isn't fair. But here's why I shouldn't expound. And here's why I should just tell you what I heard. Because it was perfect. And I don't need to add to it. And it was not yet. And I'll tell you why. You are looking at this situation. You're looking at this relationship from your own desires, Deneen. From what this person or this partner could possibly do to help fulfill your needs. But what you're not looking at yet is, what can you do for your partner? How can you bring satisfaction to your partner? How can you be an answer to prayer to your partner? It's that's a really big distinction. And I think it's one that we are severely lacking in our culture, maybe all around the world, but definitely in the American culture. And I think it stems from this very self-serving attitude that we have here, obviously myself included. That really made me pause. My next question, because I gotta always ask questions. The Lord must tire of me. I mean, but, I really do like this person, and maybe. And I felt God come back and say, when it's right, it'll be right. You're just not there yet. I just really would like us all to pause on that, I guess. Because I think so many of us, in my work even, I encounter so many people who are expecting someone else to make them happy, who are expecting someone else to fulfill all their desires, sexual or not. So I thought it was interesting because I think it just really stems from our selfishness. And so I'd like us to all maybe pause and just contemplate that this week. I'm going to end with Jesus in Matthew, in the book of Matthew, I should say. Matthew is talking about the time when Jesus predicts his death. And Peter takes Jesus aside and says to him, reprimands him really for saying such things. And he's like, heaven forbid, Lord, that will never happen. It's interesting what Jesus says back to him. He turns to Peter and says, get away from me, Satan. You're a dangerous trap to me, for you are seeing things merely from a human point of view, not from God's. And then it's like Jesus turns and he says to everyone else, his disciples, if any of you want to be my follower, you must turn from your selfish ways. Take up your cross and follow me. I just then prayed that God would help me to see things from God's point of view and from God's way, because I know that choosing God's will is always the best bet. So, grace and peace. Have a great week.